Hello there. Welcome back to the Sky Guys podcast. We are on the road to the Mandalorian Grogu. We're taking a slight detour here for a little conversation here, thought experiment we've been talking about on the pod for a few weeks. We're going to talk about the idea today of, what would have happened if Mando and Grogu did not reunite in Chapter 7 of the Book of Boba Fett, as we resaw last week. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Phillips. With me, as always, man's voice of your narration every single week. Pete Consadori is here. Pete, how are you?
Doing well. Excited to talk about this because I feel like this is something we touched upon probably a bunch when it just comes to Mandalorian talk, but I'm glad to talk more about it and see what the opinions and thoughts are here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nick Frey could not be with us today. He has scheduling conflicts. We cannot be here for this episode, but definitely gonna be a fun chat between you and I for this conversation here.
Yeah, maybe some hot takes will be thrown out there. Maybe I'll get roasted in the comments as I primarily do. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep, absolutely. Here, people want to subscribe in the Sky Guys. These are Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon, all usual suspects. Still search for the Sky Guys here at podcast platforms. Get all episodes there, and make sure you subscribe. Now you're getting bi-weekly drops. You're getting flashback Fridays from Chapter 3, Season 3 coverage of Mandalorian. So you're getting two a week right now if you sign up.
There is a lot that we're doing on the podcast, and I feel like if you are not subscribed, you're missing out on a bunch. Flashback Fridays. Wait, yes?
Yes, that's the thing.
You just said it. Sorry. The
Yep.
brain is not working as it used to. Yeah, so I mean, you're getting a lot of content. It's super cool. So make sure you subscribe. It's all free. You don't have to pay for nothing. We just like getting Star Wars content out to you guys.
Yep. And you also can follow us on social media, Sky Guys Podcast, all our social media platforms. Email the podcast, skyguyspod@gmail.com. You can check out the YouTube version, Sky Guys Podcast on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we'll put the video version on here. We'll show the social media comment of the week. We'll go to Instagram this week. This is from our coverage of Chapter 5, the Book of Boba Fett, from the the Rita Elijah. The writer Elijah, it looks like, is the handle here. There's a lot to say about our comment. Nothing happened in Chapter 5. As well as an actual book about Boba Fett. Books have tangents. Chapter is solely meant to explore another character and them in a flashback. And show how their story eventually ties back into the main story. I think people get in their own heads about TV shows and movies and say the story has to be this certain way or it's bad. He says this in all caps. These aren't bad episodes of television or of Star Wars. Actually, highly regarded some of the most peak Star Wars content, but it just lacks the title character. Which honestly, having Boba Fett be forced to the background to stand menacingly and maybe just say an occasional line is keeping him authentic to his original appearance, crying, laughing emoji. So, Pete, Elijah here has no problem with this Mando just hijacking the show.
I I think we've said it before, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think anyone is super mad that Mando hijacked the show. I don't think anyone's saying that the Book of Boba Fett was bad because Mando hijacked the show. I think the things we were talking about was it's a pretty bad overall show if a different main character has to come in and revamp it, right? I don't think it's as cut and dry as this comment. I think that Mando came in and it became the Mandalorian show for the last three episodes. Yes, it does tie in at the end, so I will agree with that there. If it was more like a book, sure, but I just don't know if this was peak Star Wars content. I think that's a little bit of a reach. I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm not saying that this was like acolyte levels of bad writing or anything like that, but like to say it was peak Star Wars content in the Boba Fett side, I think is a bit of a stretch. On the Mando side, I would agree, right? It was part of the show, so I guess in turn you get that correlation, but I don't know if I necessarily agree fully with that comment.
My challenge to Elijah would be like, imagine this was reversed. Imagine we get to like a season 4 of The Mandalorian, and all of a sudden you get like two episodes in a row where it's all Boba Fett's story, Boba Fett's characters, and Mando's just staying there. I don't think you'd be as happy in that case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Boba Fett being a cameo for the show was good, and I think having that side-esque mission or side-esque story is very good in that sense. But like you had said, if we're watching Mando and it's getting to the good part of Mando or whatever, and all of a sudden we just do two episodes without Mando and we're on Boba Fett, maybe we're having a different conversation about that show as well. So I agree with that. I think that's a great way to look at it. I'm not saying that the comment is completely wrong. It's not. I just don't know if it's completely right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's completely right either. So let's get to our Star Wars news here for the week. Since Nick's not here, I will fill in the news department here. Uh, Remember our Tom Cruise story a few weeks back about how he came to visit Star Wars Starfighter and
Yes.
got seen? Apparently, he showed up in a helicopter during the set of Star Wars Starfighter, briefly shutting down production, according to a report from Yahoo. So imagine you're just on set filming this movie, you see this helicopter come in, and all of a sudden, it's just Tom Cruise just pops out.
I feel like that's the only way Tom Cruise can enter any sort of event,
Yeah,
just from a helicopter with all the Mission Impossible and Top Gun. I mean, the guy does his own stunts too, apparently. So honestly, good for him. That's a baller move if I ever saw one. Imagine just like showing up at a helicopter wherever you just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna show up. Yeah, I don't care
yeah,
if you're filming something. It's Tom Cruise. I would stop filming for Tom Cruise. Be like, hey,
yeah.
let's wait for him to land here, and then we'll go. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting piece of news.
We call that a flex.
Oh yeah, huge,
Yeah.
huge flex.
And he at least had the courtesy to help out with the production because he grabbed the camera and helped out with that after he got there.
I mean, at least it was not all for naught, right? Like at least he helped out, probably gave his 2 cents creatively, which is probably very good input. But it's very interesting that's how he arrived. Pretty, like I said, pretty baller move.
Yeah. All right. Next up here, Disney has added dates of placeholders for movies on the calendar in 2028 and 2029. Or go to social media here. We'll go to Twitter. Star Wars Holocron has the dates up here. So these are the 8 dates they have claimed. 2028, they've added February 18th, November 10th, 2029, 6 dates for movies. February 16th, March 9th, May 25th, August 3rd, October 5th, November 9th. Pete, you and I agree about half these probably going to Marvel, correct?
I would say half of his Marvel for sure.
Yeah,
I
so
think
yes.
honestly, if you ask me right now, I don't think any of them are Star Wars.
I think you're getting one, maybe two at most.
I don't even know if two's the thing, right? So if you're looking at this list, how many dates total are there? One, two, three. I can't read it. It's too
Yeah,
small on
there's
my
two in
screen.
28 and six in 2029.
Right. So you have a total of eight. You're probably getting five that are Marvel,
Yes.
right? In 2 years. That's three left. Like you also have to remember that there's other Disney princess or hero movies that may be coming out as well. Like Disney doesn't just do Marvel or Star Wars. I don't know if Star Wars is on the docket, right? I think there's like a lot of other things they're trying to do that's already being planned and approved, not like Star Wars Celebration approved, where like, yeah, it's coming and it never does. I'm talking like stuff that, Secret Wars and stuff like that, things that lead up to that. So I don't even know if any of them are Star Wars dates. Now, will dates get added? Maybe. Maybe something comes out and the Star Wars date gets added, but I don't know if any of those are them.
I think the one I would point to is May 25th, 2029, because the next two movies we have are both around that Memorial Day weekend spot with Mando and Grogu this year, Starfighter next year in the same window. I can see that being
Yeah.
2029, that's the Star Wars spot.
Maybe, but like with everything going on with Star Wars at Disney, do you think they're planning that far out? I feel like right now they're keeping very close to the chest right now and just keeping it like closed off. Like I don't think they want to make those kinds of plans yet. I understand they haven't announced it as a Star Wars project, so they haven't really put their eggs in that basket, but like I don't know if they're thinking to 2029.
I think there's definitely something on a whiteboard that says, okay, like if we had,
Maybe.
I think it's probably just like on a whiteboard, you can just erase quickly if it just doesn't come to fruition.
I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot to ask, especially because they're trying to slow down the production. Who knows? I don't think it's going to be a trilogy. Maybe 2029 is that Mando verse kind of Avengers-esque movie when it comes to Star Wars, but it's all speculation.
Or the hunt for Ben Solo if it gets revived.
I've been seeing so much more on Twitter, Hunt for Ben Solo, ever since we posted our clip. Maybe the algorithm kind of took over, but I've seen so much backing for it. I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out of it. I don't know if it's a movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if something out of this support doesn't kind of get Disney thinking, okay, maybe we need some more Kylo Ren or maybe we need some more Ben Solo.
Yeah. All right. That's the second thing. Last thing here. Maul Shadowlord head writer Matt Michanovitz said in an interview with Cinema Blend that they did not want to make Maul a hero in this show, describing as quote a bad guy fighting worse guys whose actions impact other characters in his orbit. So Pete, I think this is the correct take on Maul. Like if we tried to make Maul like okay, he's a good guy now, he's fighting the good fight against the Empire, I don't think that works. I think having Maul just have his own motivations, and he's not a good dude. And he's running into some people who are maybe have better alternative worldviews, and he's corrupting their worldviews. I think that's fun.
I think this is like an enemy of my enemy is my friend situation.
Yeah.
Just like Clone Wars, right? Like Maul was an interesting character in Clone Wars, even in Rebels, the small times that we see him. He's in Rebels, right?
Yeah,
I'm not.
he's there for a couple of episodes.
That's when Ben Kenobi kills him, right? Like
Yep.
that's the yeah. So I think if you continue with the Clone Wars style of who Maul is and keep that character development and keep that in place, which it sounds like they are doing, I think you're fine. I think that's the right move. And right is very, very objective. Like I'm not in the industry to be like, yeah, that's correct, but I think it's the correct move.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we see Maul, he's a crime lord, and he's like building his own like criminal syndicate underground. And I don't think like also he's gonna say, "Oh, I feel I'm trying to be white knight for the people of the galaxy against the oppression of the Empire." He doesn't care.
No, no. I mean, he has his own motivations. He wants. I personally think I don't know if we get too much backstory about Maul. I think he probably thought he was going to be the ruler of the Empire at one point, and and take over Sidious's position, just like the rule of two and how it's happened before and before for the Sith. So maybe he feels like he's owed something, and I think his own motivations is going to push him to that.
All right, so that's it for the news this week here. Get into our discussion here about the choice to reunite Mando and Grogu Book of Boba Fett. We talked about it. We saw it happen last week. We saw it happen in the real time in 2022. Now let's talk about like this decision that goes into it here. Obviously, when they split them up in 2020, like at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, we're all sitting here, okay, what happens next? I think Pete, you would agree with me. At the time, we did not think that this was the last we're gonna see the two of them together.
No, I don't think any of us were sitting there going, "Oh, that's it for Grogu. We're never going to see them." Right? I think this was very much we don't know what's going to happen next, but this is not the last we're seeing of Grogu.
Yeah. I think obviously the number one thing to point out here, the merchandise of Grogu. And remember, at this point, Disney lost out on a lot in the 2019 holiday season because they let Favreau and Filoni keep it a secret for the shock value and the premiere of seeing Baby Yoda. 2020, we get the holiday merch, obviously, with Grogu there. And I think they probably saw the numbers coming in, saw the popularity of Grogu and said, we need him on the screen as soon as possible. I don't think they could like accept, okay, like even we go a season 3 where like Mando is there and don't get Grogu till later. I don't think they want to take that risk.
I'll put it this way. I don't think if you're an executive at Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, whoever's making the decisions, said the roadmap for Grogu is that we're going to have him leave, and then in a spin-off Mandalorian show, which is the Book of Boba Fett, I would consider it a spin-off show, not its own show. We're going to bring him back, a major character in the last 3 episodes. I'm pretty confident that that is not something that was on a roadmap.
No.
Confident again is a loose term because I'm not in the room. Maybe it was, right?
Yep.
All speculation. But to me, the common sense answer is that this was not an expected moneymaker. This was Baby Yoda. They didn't expect that he was going to get so much traction. He got all this traction, and they had to make a decision of how do we get him in season 3? How do we bring him back? Well, we already know what we want to do in season 3, so we need to do something in a different show related to Mando. Perfect that we have Boba Fett, and we'll bring him back then. It's just too much of a major character to do that. I feel like if they knew the plan was to bring him back in season 3, we would have just gotten him in season 3 and Book of Boba Fett would have looked a lot different. Now remember, Book of Boba Fett was supposed to be a movie.
Originally, yes.
Imagine if this was a movie and they bring back Grogu in a movie and someone didn't go and see the movie, right? Like there's movies probably a little bit easier pill to swallow than a 7 hour TV show. However, it just doesn't make sense that that was the plan. I feel like common sense says that they had to pivot and this is the way they could do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought the movie angle up because I know we've talked about this, I know Nick has talked about it, like they really missed the boat for the timing of a Mandalorian movie where it should have come after season 2. And obviously COVID impacts that in terms of production and stuff. And Pedro Pascal's getting bigger at that point. He's getting booked on more stuff here. Like, I wonder, like, if you make this whole big event, like the Mandalorian, the movie, and then like Mando and Grogu, like have you take a lot of the stuff you got in the Book of Boba Fett, put it in there and said, okay, here's the format. Like, here's the story. Here's what that happens next with them. You can Boba Fett is sort of a side character, have Mando on this side quest here, and then they reunite at the end of the movie. I wonder if that's received better because at least you're telling the audience, hey, this is the next thing with them in it. Please go see this. I think you would have had a better sell job than, oh, it's in the spinoff show we didn't even tell you they were going to be in.
I think season two was such a strong season for both the Mandalorian, Grogu, and Boba Fett that the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
It's a strong ending. Coming up with a movie after Book of Boba Fett, after season three of Mando, after the Star Wars flops, if you will, like Acolyte and stuff like that. Andor was really good, but I don't think it falls into this realm. I think it's totally separate, right? I don't think people watched Andor and go, oh, a Mandalorian movie's coming out, it's got to be good. I think they separate it. I think a lot of people separate Andor from the rest of the franchise. I just think after all of that missed opportunity and just poor performances in that sense, I don't know if it makes this movie more palatable. Um, I think the new teaser trailer that or the new trailer we got after Super Bowl made it much better than we thought it was going to be. But I agree with you. I think that was the opportunity to drop a movie like this and then create a season three of Mando.
Yeah. I think it would have been good. And also, I think there's also story factors that we also have to weigh in here because as much people don't want to acknowledge the sequel trilogy, sequel trilogy exists. And the sequel trilogy makes it clear that at the time of the sequels, Luke is considered the last Jedi. And all of these other Jedi are either dead or in hiding or like not practicing the Force. And I think like you have a problem story wise if, okay, Grogu is Luke's student. And I know there's about 20 years between I guess like 15 years to when Luke picks up Grogu and when Kylo Ren basically turns to the dark side. Like, do you want to even create the perception with the audience that maybe Grogu was like slaughtered off screen by Kylo Ren? And I don't think they want any part of that.
I think it is a plot hole if they were to make him a Jedi. I don't think the plan was ever to have Grogu be a Jedi though. Like I think that as much as they would have wanted it, like how many years would have to go by for Grogu's species to be a Jedi, right? How old was Yoda when he died? 800 or something crazy like that?
900.
900, right. He was 50, Grogu. So like how do you even like achieve that, right? If Grogu's 50 and like to be a master Jedi or to be a good Jedi maybe he has to be 200. I don't even know how you do that. So I think the plan maybe was not him had to be a Jedi, but I also don't know if he comes back either. So I don't know. I think the sequel trilogy also they have to like you said, it is a thing. The Mandalorian is very heavy about getting blood from a force wielder, probably for Project Necromancer, probably to get, Emperor Palpatine back and try to explain that. So I agree with you. People have to remember that the sequel trilogy is a thing. There is some plot points like Luke being the last Jedi and all of that. And I just also think that just timeline wise, it's like impossible to see Grogu as a Jedi unless you have a show 300 years in the future.
Yeah. I mean, Grogu at this point, I mean, if you look at the theory, you're talking about how, like, oh, he ages, so slowly with everybody else. Like, he's probably still trained to be a Jedi at the time that Kylo Ren is getting ready to flip sides there.
Oh yeah. I mean, how far off is the sequel trilogy from Mandalorian?
I'm not even talking about the sequel trilogy, just like when Kylo Ren turns. This is before the sequel trilogy happened.
Oh, true. But even so, right? Like how far along timeline wise is the sequel
I'll,
trilogy?
it's, I believe we're in 9 or 10 BDY now. I think the sequel's around like 33, 34.
Yeah.
I think
You
like
think you
Kylo,
think Grogu's becoming a Jedi in 20 years
no.
when he ages super slow? Well, not ages super slow, but like their species can live to 900.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that, I don't know how Yoda's species
He,
grows or grows up. Maybe they're fully grown by 100 and they can just live another 800 years. I don't know. But still, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I think at the pace Grogu's going here, like maybe by that point he's speaking and is like elementary school like age.
Right, like I feel like it's toddler level at that point. Maybe, like you said, entry level, elementary school level, which is a good amount of years in human years. But for them, maybe it might be 300 years. You don't know. I mean, the dude's still acting like a baby at 50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think you can't forget that storyline factor there. I think that does something that like I know there was speculation online, like, oh my God, what's gonna happen to Grogu? And I know like there's all this stuff about like this controversy about Ahsoka's voice being heard in the sequel, like in episode 9 in the end when Rey like hears the voices of all the Jedi there. So like obviously Grogu being in the mix there, I think is problematic for what Disney wants to do.
I think so. I
Yeah.
have a hot take. I think Grogu's going to speak in the movie.
I mean, Kathleen Kennedy's already said he won't.
The end.
Yeah. Like I don't
I'm sorry. Like you could say all you want, I'm not doing it, and then they show up. I mean, I look at Spider-Man, whatever, No Way Home, when both the Spider-Man's like, yeah, we're not involved, and they were involved. I mean, it's very easy to just throw the scent off the trail.
No, I don't think he's speaking in the movie. I'd be very surprised if that's the spot we get it. I think once he starts talking, he loses a lot of his cuteness factor.
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like it still goes.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I mean, like I feel like it's one of those things where like his appeal is very much that he and Kathleen Kennedy said this, like he can emote without speaking, and you can understand him just by like his eye movement and how he like moves his face. I feel like if you're it, having him start expressing his feelings with words, I think the cuteness factor goes down about like half.
Maybe. I don't. I couldn't. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's already like there. I feel like we already got there. Like Grogu's cute. That's it. It's over. No
Yeah.
matter what he does.
All right. So let's move forward a little bit here because obviously we talk about this a bit during the Book of Boba Fett stuff, and we see that like we have theorized, Pete, multiple times that season 3 of Mandalorian basically they took the several elements from it and brought it into Boba Fett to pad out that show's episode count. And it makes you wonder with the stuff they do thread that does pay off in season 3 here. I do think that like I think we were trending towards like maybe they were to spend the season apart and then like in episode 7 they were to come back together. Like that would be my hunch about what their the original plan was for that. I think they were going to sort of have like show him on his own learning. Like you don't have to spend a whole episode of Mark Hamill. You can just kind of like drop him in here and there, and then I think like I feel like they were going to do this at the end of season 3. I think there's sort of like okay, here's the arc where Mando's by himself, Grogu's by himself. They miss each other, they come back together.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think Mando had a bunch of stuff he had to do on his own that they tried to express in season 3, right? He wanted to get back into the Mandalorian way, and he had to go bathe in the waters of Mandalore. He had to do all this stuff that had nothing to do with Grogu, and it was setting up for that, right? It was setting up for he has a bunch of stuff to do. Now, granted, we don't find out the Mandalorian stuff until Book of Boba Fett, but if they were to take those 3 episodes without returning Grogu and put it at the beginning of season 3, I think we have a better shot at having a more cohesive season. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that probably would have been a good plan, and I think that would have fit really well. And then you have the Mandalorian Grogu movie, and then a season 4, right? Like I feel like that would have been a really really good trajectory.
Yeah, because I think the issue here is I think like if you do that, we know we don't get season 3 until 2023. So I think like by waiting that long, I think Disney misses out like a year and a half of merch sales basically because they don't know how long Grogu's gonna be there.
But do
Yeah.
they? I feel like Grogu merch, even if he wasn't in the season, is not going to stop. They're not going to take Grogu merch off the racks, right? Like, I mean, how many movies have not been in production for how long, and they still sell merchandise for those movies, right? I mean, uh, any Disney princess, they're still selling merch, right? I'm sure there's still Cinderella merch, and they haven't really remade that in a while. You know, like just because it's not that year or in the past couple of years doesn't mean they're not going to do it. So I don't know if I totally agree with that. I think I understand why you would say that, though. That merch is in their forefront because that's a lot of their money making. It's not just these subscriptions in Disney Plus. So I could see them being like, well, how could we sell more merch? How could we do that now? It's been a while. So I can understand where you're coming from, but I feel like it still wouldn't have mattered. I feel like people would have still bought Grogu stuff.
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, I think it's more reinforced. You see him on the screen again. Oh, look, he's here. Like, oh, look, go buy this mug or go buy the Grogu hat or like buy the plush.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, outside, out of mind sometimes. Maybe that's what they were afraid of, right? If
Yeah,
Grogu's not on screen, I don't want to buy Grogu stuff. Again, I don't know. We haven't seen Darth Vader in a while in something recent, but yet we still buy Darth Vader stuff if you're a fan. So I I could see both sides.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about like since we're on this season 3 trend here, like, well, what happens in season 3 if we let's say for instance like Mando in Boba Fett is just a cameo, like he gets hired for to be help for the fight. He shows up. He's there for a little bit. He helps recruit the people of Mos Pelgo. They fight the Pikes and he leaves. All the other stuff gets put to the side. So we'll say like this is all Mando does here. Season three, I think, looks a lot better if you have, him basically the first episode, he's going back and finding his people. He's going to the mines of Mandalore by himself. He's like running into Bo-Katan by himself. You have Grogu training and stuff by himself. I think like you could save a lot of stuff for like have like a mid-season event where Ahsoka's there and he's going to see Grogu. I think the flow's a lot better. I think you get rid of a lot of the fat, like if from season three, if you could take these story elements back from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think they were struggling to find content, and there was some filler in there. I do have to say, I just kind of wish they focused on Mandalorians and Mandalore and rebuilding Mandalore and Bo-Katan and stuff.
Well,
I
I
feel like
mean,
it's a
they tried and people were not happy with that direction.
well, they weren't happy with that direction because Grogu came back,
Yeah,
right? Like if Grogu doesn't come back and they have to do something around Mando and they do a better job at displaying that content, I feel like people are okay with it. Mandalore is probably one of the cooler planets or the cooler storylines in Star Wars lore, in my opinion, right? I mean, who doesn't like a guy in badass armor? And imagine all of them, right? Like, I mean, I think that the way that they went about this, the storyline was correct. Do the Mando stuff, try to restore Mandalore, don't break the dark saber, right? That was a bunch of crap. Like that just to me was like what was it for, right? Don't bring Grogu back. I think those are the things that delegitimize the season. I think if you don't have that, I think it's fine. I think you do a fine job. I mean, even if you put the stuff from Book of Boba Fett in the beginning of season three, right? If you don't have it in Book of Boba Fett, and that's like the opening two scenes is that he's helping Boba Fett, take back his thing, and he's like, okay, now I got to go to Mandalore, and that's like the opening thing, kind of gets you warmed up to season three, and then he's doing his Mandalore stuff. I still think that's good too. Um, I just think because Grogu comes back and they just kind of like flip flop, it just makes it bad.
yeah. Because there was a lot of stuff going on here, and like I think we said this in the real time we were watching season three that like basically mine's a Mandalore, which is going to be in Flashbacks Friday this week. This is the second episode of the season, and then like Mando has gone in, he's bathed in the waters, he's like redeemed, and you feel like, okay, what are we doing with Mando for six more episodes? Whereas I think like if you could spread this out a little bit more, I think it's a much better paced season.
I mean, I also think I think breaking the dark saber was a very big mistake.
I
I mean,
disagree on that to a degree. I think it shows
I
like
don't know.
the evolution of the people of Mandalore, where like where Gideon says like the myth of the Darksaber is more important than the actual weapon here, and sort of like saying like, hey, like you don't need the magic sword to be our leader. Like we need like people who are strong principled to be our leader.
True, but I do feel like the dark saber is pretty ingrained
Yeah,
in Mandalore lore, right? I mean, it's like it's something we've been seeing since the Clone Wars.
yeah,
That's almost like the Jedi going, we don't need lightsabers anymore. We can just use the Force. It's like, okay, yeah, I hear you, but like I still want to see it.
yeah. It's like more of an audience problem than like an in-universe problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think that it was a mistake. And the way it broke, it's just like, really? Like what? Like he was fighting a spider, right? Or whatever it was, and the
Yeah.
thing it just I don't know. I think that was a mistake for sure for that season.
Yeah, I just feel like with that show, like I always remember watching it. Like, remember what happened? I think like right after like, and in the first two episodes of season three, obviously you have the Mando deals with the pirates on Navarro for an episode. Then like he goes to Mandalore with Grogu, and they fight in the mines of Mandalore. Look at the next couple episodes after this one in terms of I'm gonna go to season three real quick if you want to like filibuster for a second. So in terms of like Mando season three content. You remember what happened in those episodes right after he gets redeemed?
I was muted, sorry. I think if I'm remembering correctly, that's when he goes back to the convert and he's trying to like gain his trust again with like the Vizsla family and Bo-Katan and all that stuff because they're like, hey, look, I did the thing. I bathed in the mines of Mandalore. Like I'm good now. And we have like three episodes of that.
All right, so here's what happens here. So chapter 19, the convert. This is the episode where like Bo-Katan's castle gets attacked by the pirate by Gideon
Hmm.
crew, basically, and then this is the we spent most of the episode with the Pershing Republic storyline that gets brought over from Rangers New Republic that doesn't happen. So
Right.
that's one episode.
Oh, I forgot that was in the season.
Yeah, that's the episode immediately after Mines of Mandalore.
Okay.
Then we have Grogu learns Mandalorian techniques. You get the extended flashback of Grogu and during Order 66 Calorie and Beck. That's the fourth
Yep.
episode. Then the fifth episode, the pirates attack Navarro again, and Mando brings the Mandalorian crew to help. And then that's next is the Jack Black episode and Lizzo episode.
I mean, a perfect point. The Dr. Pershing stuff, that episode, Mando doesn't show up in it at all, right?
He's at the beginning at the end. It's like the Mando sandwich. It's the Pershing sandwich where Mando's the brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that stuff was good, but it's like something I don't think we're getting a full episode of if we don't have to pad the runs, like pad the content out for stuff we lost into season three. Into
Right.
Boba Fett.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
like they're probably looking at it. I think in the original blueprint would be like I'd say probably like around episode five he's getting to Mandalore, and then you're kind of like I think you're losing the Grogu flashback in there. I think you're getting Pershing kind of sprinkled throughout instead of having a whole episode dedicated to him. I think it flows much better. I think the pacing is way off because you have to stall to get from episode two to episode seven.
I think season three was supposed to be Grogu coming back.
Yes, I think
I think season three was going to have all of this, and they just said no. We need the merch now. We need to do something now,
yeah,
and I think that spread them thin for content, and then they had to figure out how to fill 8 episodes when they only had 5 episodes of stuff because the other three were in Book of Boba Fett. So I agree with you. Pacing is drawn out, and I think because of the lack of content. And that's why I was very skeptical about the movie. I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like what the ending of season three was very just lackluster. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like there's nothing else to do.
yeah.
So I agree with you. Pacing was a problem because I think of content.
Yeah, you think of some of the story elements we got in season three as well, including like specifically the Grogu flashback to Order 66. Like that basically, I remember in the episode, it gets triggered by the armorer basically like forging something, and that experience triggers a noise for him. But in Book of Boba Fett, like it gets triggered by Luke saying, "Oh, you want to help you remember here." I think it's something that was meant to have Luke like bring it out of him and like help him process it. But since we took him away from Luke, now we gotta get the information out a different way.
Right. That I agree with that. I think that was a yeah. I mean, the more I think of it, I feel like that was Mandalorian season three. The beginning was all the Grogu and Mando stuff.
Yeah, because I think you
Because I
could
think
really,
they also, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think they also had a problem filling the show for Boba Fett too. So they're probably like, what are we going to do? Oh, perfect. We could just do this,
yeah, so,
like, and switch it up. Yeah. The more and more we talk about it, I feel like season three, episodes one, two, and three were supposed to be Book of Boba Fett episodes 5, 6, and 7,
yeah. I think like they like we said, they
or
ran out of
backwards.
yeah, they ran out of movie content for Boba in episode four. They saw the real time stuff was going nowhere, and they said, "What are we gonna do?" And they said, "We're gonna bring Mando in here because we need Mando here to get the audience back in. If we're bringing Mando, we'll just bring Grogu back in and kill two birds with one stone."
Right. And they probably felt like the Mando property was strong enough to be a slower season.
Yeah,
And they said it'll be okay if we have to fill it.
yeah.
Wouldn't be okay to just fill Book of Boba Fett because it was already off to a slow start. So they probably felt like the property could handle it, which it did, right? And people still hold Mando to a high regard, the show. So I guess they made the right business decision if that was the decision to be made.
Yeah, but I remember in the real time, people were basically saying season three is off, and I think also not having Pedro on set at all in season three, I think was something that like
That didn't help.
made it 50 times worse because
Yeah, it didn't. That didn't help at all.
because we clocked in the premiere where we saw that they elevated Katie Sackhoff the main cast alongside Pedro. Like, okay, like I think she's the main character this season, and Mando's kind of there.
Which fine. Like I would have been fine with that. Like
I
we
think,
we talked about it during season three. It's called The Mandalorian, not Din Djarin, right? Like it could be about other Mandalorians.
yeah,
So I understand the context of it. Like he's Mando, he's the Mandalorian, like he's the Mandalorian. But still, we talked about it ad nauseum. Like this could have easily been done and it would have been fine. I don't think anyone would have been like, oh my God, it's not Din Djarin. We hate this. Like I think it'd be fine.
yeah, I think it was more like it felt like he got Boba Fett a little bit of his own show by Bo-Katan, where Bo-Katan sort of becomes the lead character. I think for
Hmm.
like episode 3 or like episode 6, like she's the main character and Mando's sort of her sidekick. And it's
Right.
like we're like, wait, we didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, like we get a lot of dopey stuff in the middle of the season here. I mean, the pirate fight was fun. I will say that chapter five, like chapter 21 was fun, but like we got Jack Black and Lizzo, got Mando kicking battle droids, we got Paz Vizsla flying in the mouth of a dragon. Like we got a lot of like dumb stuff to try and pad the airtime of these episodes.
I'm not super upset about it. I think it was a weaker season. I think it was the weakest season out of the three.
Yep.
But it's not like it was like poorly written to the point where we were just like, I can't watch this, right? I mean, there is shows, let's call it Acolyte, where there was parts of that show where we're just like, oh my god, this was bad, right? Even though I have a soft spot for the Acolyte, I feel like it got a bad rap, but Mando is still a good show. I just think it was a very weak season comparatively.
Is this season stretched too thin? That's the problem.
It's stretched too thin. The pacing's bad. I think it got super big to the point where, we talk about the Jack Black, the Lizzo, and all that stuff. Like, I don't think Jack Black and Lizzo would want to be in the show season 1 and 2 because they're probably like, all right, what is it? The startup Star Wars thing. But then it becomes big and they're like, well, wait, everyone knows what the Mandalorian is. Everyone knows what Grogu is. So obviously, celebrities, it's going to pique their interest and they're going to want to be a part of it. I don't blame them, right? And I don't blame the studio from saying, hey, let's get some star power in here too. Was it executed right? I don't know about that. I think we kind of ripped into it a little bit, maybe a little harsher than we probably should have, but I don't know. I just feel like the pacing and the property was allowed for the pacing, and that's kind of where we were at.
Yeah, I also noticed. I was looking up the runtime, some of these episodes here for season 3, and especially at the middle four that we were talking about here. Like chapter 19 is 58 minutes. I think it's a little skewed because, like, I'd say Pete, you probably about 40 of it was Persian, if I remember correctly.
Say that again. What was Persian?
Chapter about of the 58-minute runtime for chapter 19, 40 of it I feel like was Pershing.
Right, right. I mean, it wasn't bad.
That was good, but again, it's like one of
Yeah,
those things like we were talking about the time with Mike Brescia, like you'll hear on Flashback Friday next week. Like this felt like the Andor episode of Mandalorian.
right,
Yeah.
right.
With that one, chapter 20, the Grogu flashback one, 33-minute runtime, about 15 of it is the Grogu flashback.
It's just too short.
Then we have 44 for the pirate fight, and we had 46 for Jack Black and Lizzo. I think like that's where you're starting to see, okay, I think that's where the stretch really is, where it's like we need to get from Mando redeeming himself to the Gideon conflict where they go back to Mandalore. It takes them 4 episodes to put the group together to go to Mandalore.
I feel like I have to rewatch it. I can't even remember why he goes to that planet where Jack Black and Lizzo are. Like he has to pick up a key or something, like or he picks up like information about a person. It was
Yeah,
literally just to go and get one specific thing. It was literally a side mission episode.
yeah, it was because basically they had to go get Bo-Katan's gang back because they split up from Bo-Katan after
Right,
the events of season 2. So she goes to try and convince them, and they're whole up on that planet. Basically, she's going
right,
to recruit them. That's the whole argument.
right, right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that's the stuff there. Wrap up here with two things here. Number one, like how wild is it? To still think about this in the real time that season 3 he's just there, and the show makes no acknowledgement of how he got back together. The actual proper show, like no recap on the thing saying, oh, like showing it from Boba Fett, no little like notification here. Like, you get a one like a kind of like a winking line from Grief Karga is like it's like you were trying to quest this child to his people. Now he's here. Like, what happened? And man, I was like, it's complicated. I'm like, for these people who didn't watch Book of Boba Fett because they were Mando like loyal viewers and didn't have interest in the Boba Fett stuff, like that's like a what the hell, guys, like moment.
I mean, at this point, well, before season 3, but at the point of Book of Boba Fett, there was what, 3 Disney Plus shows total? Mando, Bad Batch, and Book of Boba Fett?
But Baz wasn't even out yet. It was the last Clone Wars season.
Really? When Book
Yeah.
of Boba Fett was out, wasn't Bad Batch wasn't in there?
Oh no, Bad Batch, you're right. It might have come out like like that during the year that year, but
Like
like
right after Boba Fett or like in between or
I
something. But
think it
like
was
in that time,
I think you're right. I think it came out like May of 21.
right, like in that time, we have 3 major Star Wars shows in Disney Plus, one of which is animated, right? You don't even mention the other show to get people to go watch it. Like, I feel like that was the perfect opportunity to be like, this is what you missed in this show. Go watch it. Right? Like, it would have gotten so much more viewers to Book of Boba Fett. Granted, would they have been excited to see what it came out to be? Maybe not. Maybe so. People like Book of Boba Fett. I don't judge them for it. I am personally am not a huge fan of how that show was run. But again, not the worst television I've seen in my life. I just feel like they missed a huge opportunity. And also, like, if you didn't even want to watch Book of Boba Fett, like, you're sitting there going, "What the hell? Why? How did he get back here? Why are we doing this again?"
It's like, wait, what
There's
happened to Luke?
nothing,
Yeah, it's like what happened to Luke? Luke took him.
nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely no acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible planning.
Yeah. Not even putting it in the previously. I think we get like I think the most we
Nothing.
get out of it, I think is like in one episode, I think chapter 20 or chapter 18 when he's going to mail. I think we get the clip from chapter 5 of Boba Fett where she tells him like you have to go to the mines of Mandalore to redeem
Right.
yourself. But like even then, like if you're watching, I'm like, wait, like did I miss this
When
scene?
did that
Like
happen?
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I haven't seen the armor since season one.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That to me was a mistake too. Big
That's
mistake.
insanely bad writing to like not even acknowledge the fact that this
Maybe
happened.
they didn't want to. Maybe it was on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know like did you watch back in the day the Disney Plus like docu special on the making of Boba Fett?
No,
No.
no, I didn't touch it.
No, I think I remember watching it and like they had I think Favreau and Filoni were there like, oh, and it was like they kind of had were spinning like, oh, it was always the plan for them to come together in the show. I'm like, yeah, right, guys. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
I'm like, it was definitely the plan for them to get back together. It was definitely not in this show. You
Yeah,
basically
it
got
was it was always the plan when they started filming, not always the plan when they started writing the Mandalorian show.
it was always the plan when Disney called and said, put them back together now.
Yeah, that's literally probably what the phone call was. 10 seconds. Get them together now. Figure it out. Click.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and they're like, we're gonna do it in season three. Like, no, 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 too long now.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So sum up here. Right move, wrong move to put them together here. I think you and I agree clearly this was the wrong move.
Wrong time.
No, yeah, I think wrong.
We're talking. Was it the right move or wrong move to get them together in Boba Fett?
Correct. And the other
Yeah,
guy,
wrong. Wrong. I think it was the wrong idea.
yeah, this is definitely the 100% the wrong idea here. I think like at that point, I think Boba Fett, the cost, like the thing is sunk. I think you let it sink. Maybe you reformat it into like a movie, like a Disney Plus standalone movie. Like, oh look, guys, like the Book of Boba Fett, or like I think I don't know who the guest was we had a few weeks ago. Like, what if it's like a really good 4-part like mini series instead of like okay, let's go to 7 episodes. Like maybe you get rid of the flashback element and have like a banger like like conflict in the back too. Like I think like there's ways to do it here, but I don't think using Mandalorian damaging your main show to prop up a spinoff was the right answer.
I don't know what the reasoning behind these episode lengths and season lengths are, but I agree with you 100%. You easily could do a spin-off show, make it 4 episodes, and just make it really good. People like it, great. If not, you only spent money on 4 episodes. It is what it is. It's out there, right? I don't see why that was such a problem.
I think that's back more in the era of like Disney Plus more concerned about subscribers keeping the subscription, whereas like okay, like
Yeah, keep them on longer.
keep them on longer. Like we need 7 episodes to keep them on for 2 months.
Yeah,
Whereas like
yeah.
if we do four, maybe they just like get it for a month and leave. Whereas like we want to hook them as long as we can.
Yeah, I think that's not the case now since they do the bundle. It
Yep.
wasn't necessarily the idea back in when they first came out Disney Plus because I don't think they owned ESPN and or had the deal with Hulu yet. Maybe ESPN, but not Hulu. So the fact that they were able to do that now the bundle, I feel like they have subscribers no matter what. Like most people get the bundle.
Yeah. I think definitely the wrong choice to do it in this show. Even worse choice in not acknowledging in the main show, like how you got this
Oh
situation.
yeah, terrible,
Like
terrible.
acting like the audience is dumb and like just like didn't like process like something is happening here. That's like literally like they're basically gaslighting your Mandalorian only audience there. Say like, oh look, that season 2 didn't happen. They're back together. Everything's cool. We're having fun.
Probably probably correct. I don't know if they think we're dumb, but I think they were just like, how do we just not talk about it?
Yeah.
I think they straight up were just like, we don't want to talk about it. They're back together. Like, don't worry, your favorite character's back. I think they just try to positively spin it versus being like, yeah, we saw how popular it was, so we had to make a pivot. They're not gonna come out and say that.
Like in universe, like, and I think like they're stuck in a corner here because like once you do it in a different show, it's like you get people pissed off, like who didn't watch the other show and are saying, like, wait, like they're back. What happened to Luke? Like, why did I not see this? Like, I think them doing it's complicated. It's just their way of saying, okay, like if you want to find out, go Google it. Like, we're not gonna bring more attention to this than we have to.
Yeah, which makes me feel really weird about their confidence in their own properties.
Yeah, which again, like I think we've cracked the code that the original season three plan looks much better when you don't take like 2 episodes worth of content out and throw it in a different show.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks better too.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to leave this week here, Pete. So we're gonna, like I said, we do not have time to do the episode by episode rewatch of season three. That's why Flashback Fridays exists, because next week we're gonna get a brand new show. Maul Shadow Lord is back. 2 episodes a week for 5 weeks, starting on April 6th, going through Star Wars Day. So the episodes are not gonna be strictly on Mondays. We've been pre-recording basically a week ahead throughout this. So and it's tougher for us to try and we don't know how long these episodes are yet, Pete. Like these could be like epic length animation. I wouldn't count on it. I would expect at least the pilot to be a little longer. So like I would not be counting on the Monday turnaround on these guys and all that.
Yeah, I mean, with that and personal schedules, we'll try to get our thoughts out there as quickly as possible for you guys. But I mean, with the releases being early in the morning and all of that, it's just going to be tough. So you'll get the content. We'll be talking about it, but it may not be regularly scheduled.
It might not be Monday night every week. Like it will
Right.
like in off season is always on Monday. We're able to get ahead. Like this is not like we can really get ahead of. So
Right. We'll be technically we'll be in season, right? It won't be our off season because this is a new
yeah.
show coming out. So we'll go back to our model of when it comes out, we will get to you as quickly as possible.
Yes, that is the plan. So, and 2 episodes a week is gonna be fun. It's like I like the little sprint through Maul. I think it's gonna be exciting to get the movie. I think they like what they had with Andor. I think they feel good about Maul to like. I think they want it done before the movie comes out.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And then like I said, it's going to be fun to be able to watch it and get some new ideas out there. Show that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, I think the first new Star Wars content we've actually gotten. I think since Visions 3.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, because it's Visions 3 or I yeah because after prior to
Yeah, I
that,
feel like we just been doing Mando rewatches since then.
and the bracket was in there, and we had
And the
some.
bracket. Yeah, yeah. That's very true.
Yeah, definitely a long time since we got new Star Wars content. I'm excited to get into this, especially because Pete, how much as much as I love our clones, I'm glad we're getting a different animated direction here.
Yeah, I bet it's gonna be. It's. I mean, it's in the same. You're gonna get clones anyway.
Yeah, but
They're gonna be there.
but the clones are not the main character anymore.
Correct. Correct.
I think we're getting like actually, Maul's the main character. Maybe he runs into some clones, but I feel like this is just Maul sort of not like the continuation of the clone. This is not the Clone War season 12 at this point.
Right. Right.
All right, so Pete, thanks again for coming on. People want to follow you on social media. How can I do that?
At Consy29 on Twitter, CONSY29, AP Tyler 308 posted this background on Reddit. Make sure you check him out.
Yep, you can also follow me on social media, M Phillips 331. It's MPHILIPS 331. This is over on the Just and the Suffering podcast. We are still going through March Madness here. So Troy Moriello is back with you. We're getting ready to recap the Sweet 16, a Week 8, preview the Final Four. So that's going to be exciting here. And Pete, are you a big Daredevil guy?
No. Well, I mean, it's interesting. I don't think I ever watched the show.
Did you watch the Netflix one or did you check out the Disney Plus one?
I don't think I've seen any of the shows. I think I saw the original movie back in the day.
Yeah.
I forgot who played Daredevil then.
I think it was Affleck.
Yeah, I think I saw that movie when it came out, but I don't think I've seen any more Daredevil content since then.
Yeah, Charlie Cox, obviously from the Netflix version, back in Disney Plus version here. Season 2 came out. Recovery Room Nick came by Just on the Suffering as well. We talked about the premiere of Daredevil Born Again there. If you ever watched that show, check that out. It's definitely a fun show. And I know you're very busy time wise, but you're a Marvel guy. Netflix Daredevil is a peak Marvel.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, put it on the list.
I'll put it on the ever growing list.
Yeah, we'll see what happens first. You get to Daredevil or I get to Game of Thrones.
Probably me getting to Daredevil.
All right, so
We've been telling you to watch Game of Thrones for the past 5 years now, 6 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see if that ever happens. We'll be back next week. More Shadow Lord coverage, episode coming in the week, date TBD. Until then, may the Force be with you.